When the DNGs say, we're gonna make a hit piece on you, I feel excited. And what are you gonna do? What are you gonna say? Andrew Tate says women can't party. Cool, G.
License plate is literally Tate Spy.
3 minutes, I had his name, his address.
They do join the war room because now I've said it, I may have a spy.
Listen, I'm part of networks and groups. This Twitter tag, 20 grand, with ideas and information that's gonna destroy his life. Females make fantastic spies.
I was like hypnotized by the routine.
Haven't you seen all these fucking serial killers and their wives help them hide the body and shit?
Andrew Tate is not a spy. The war room's objective was to make them as high profile as possible. And as a result, he's become so polarizing he's untouchable for most. So that doesn't add up. When someone came into my stream proposing Andrew Tate was controlled opposition, citing his obsession with James Bond and having Tate spy on his car, I didn't think much of it. But it did get me thinking about two things. To what extent is the war room a secret society?
And the war room is my own secret society.
All the way back in 2017, his business card reads, Secret Society with an apostrophe S, implying some sort of ownership.
And what we're trying to do is create a nice, safe society where our children can grow up happy and relatively free.
Perhaps this is one of those nods to the perspicacious.
I didn't put a spell on the world. I didn't do any magic.
We found the dragons, the flaming pearl, this thing, whatever this is.
Like Illuminati type shit?
Correct.
All of this makes sense with Iggy's symbolism, and the way that he talks with his hands, the hands with what appear to be flaming pearls on them.
I'll explain the reason, I'll get your attention in my hands, and then I'll directly give you the reason. And I'll put it into your brain. I'll put it in with my hands.
So we know they're building some type of society, but the Tates have been anything but secretive.
I'm not a spy. I'm an idiot.
So we have a secret society, but we also have this militarization. I get the cage fights, but interrogation training, hostage situation training, what's the deal with this? And why delete this video and footage specifically from their Tattoo Expeditions channel? Tate frequently mentions his core demographic.
Military age males to young males.
You're building an army, and it's growing, especially if you host.
Maybe as a contingency plan, if Andrew Tate is assassinated, they're going to light up the sky with the War Room logo, and that's going to awaken all these sleeper agents.
The numbers, basically.
But that would never happen. I left this clue at the end of my first Tate deep dive, and amazingly, it all comes together.
Look, little loves. A spider in the garden.
So that's what was shown, but this is how the scene ends, which is what I was hinting at.
Littlefinger was born with no lands, no wealth, no armies. He has acquired the first two. How long before he has the army? Perhaps you'll laugh, but I know him better than most, and this is the truth. Littlefinger is one of the most dangerous men in Westeros.
Sounds like somebody we know, doesn't it? I compare the character of Littlefinger to Andrew Tate. All you need to know is that Littlefinger started from nothing, is a scheming mastermind, he owns brothels, and employs spies.
Littlefinger is a magician.
So now to expand the metaphor, in Game of Thrones we have Stark, Baratheon, and Lannister. These are the major families. They have extensive resources, they have armies, and in real life this would be like China, America, Russia. See, Varys and Littlefinger do not belong to any relevant families and yet sit with kings. They have no military force, but what they do have are intelligence networks.
Collectively, you control more spies and informants than the rest of the world combined.
So if Andrew Tate's network is Littlefinger, then that means Varys would be Israel.
The war broke out while working on this. Complete coincidence.
I draw this comparison because Israel is a tiny nation state. They have hardly any land, no army, and yet they have the most feared intelligence network in the world. Because what they do have is money and a devoted society.
To Andrew Tate!
See where I'm going with this?
I'm outside Andrew Tate's house.
Get rid of all of it, empty brains, empty hard disks, and plug in the new program for whatever they think is applicable at the time.
So now I've set the foundation. On one hand, we have a secret society. On the other hand, we have militarization of members, not for an army, but for espionage. Combine those together, and we have an intelligence community.
Wars fought, assassinations plotted, revolutions started, uprisings quelled.
In the war room, you learn how to be James Bond.
Now, before getting into the meat of this theory, I have to get you caught up on this man's role in all of this. In the first deep dive, I theorized that the hypnotist Iggy Samawise taught Andrew Tate neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, to exert potent influence through covert hypnosis, which is essentially speaking directly to the core of someone's mind without them ever knowing it, changing the way that they think without their awareness.
But he definitely, when you spoke to him, he definitely had an agenda. He definitely influenced you in ways that were not of your own thinking.
How do you mean?
He literally would tell me that I went inside of your brain and I rearranged things. I went in the attic and I started moving the furniture around, is how he would describe it. So he was very good at reprogramming brains.
And now, over a year later, through a leaked War Room document, this theory is confirmed to be true. Includes the ability. Yo, right there! Right there! As per NLP presuppositions and or sleight of mouth or meta frames. This is the same communication model leveraged by cult leader Keith Raniere to turn his victims into sex slaves.
Neuro-linguistic programming, a method outlined in books like Frogs into Princes and The Structure of Magic, based on the unverified belief that you can influence the way a person will act using only your choice of words and tone of speech.
That's some pretty shit journalism there, Matt. Here are two retired U.S. military officers explaining how NLP is used by intelligence operators.
NLP, of course, is developed as a therapeutic modality. Basically, how do you fix broken people? Our problem was totally different. We had very, very good people, and it was how do we make them better? Say the Jedi Project was one aspect of that. We dealt with what you call spies.
The nature of the clandestine intelligence service and much of the rest of the community depends on being able to collect information from people and identify those aspects of your personal belief systems that would afford us the opportunity to encourage you to cooperate with us.
We used NLP techniques to reestablish contact and confidence between the individual and the handler.
Everybody has pieces of themselves that can be broken apart.
So here's my theory. Like the frog in the boiling pot.
Submission. Slowly. Make me a coffee.
The same way Andrew Tate strategically installed female sexual slavery frames into the minds of females,
I never installed a frame in a woman's mind that was negative.
he has also built a ladder for his followers to become spies. The Tates planted the idea of becoming a badass spy into the minds of their followers from the beginning, saying things like,
I actually am James Bond.
I could shoot, I could fight, and I drive an Aston. I am James Bond.
James Bond lifestyle.
Some people in his division have reported him as a spy.
Bond gets a chick, and he wants to get sex, so she tells him where the safe of the bad guy is.
This is known as persuasion. By creating the glamorous vision of that life in their mind at that time, it becomes easier to convince them of that life in the future. The way that the Tates have designed their network, young men start in the real world where they can learn copyright, otherwise known as persuasive writing. They also learn how to cold call, market, and prospect.
He's teaching them to be fantastic salesmen.
Once they're able to ramp up into the war room, they learn more advanced persuasion techniques from the mysterious wizard Iggy. This would include neurolinguistic programming. Now confirmed from their survival scrolls and the use of sexual slavery frames, NLP was conceived as a therapy to help change someone's perspective while leveraging hypnosis to do so.
If he complies, then it's hypnosis, right?
Anybody you can emotionally affect, you have them in your pocket, right?
By understanding how to alter someone's emotion state or their perception, they become more influential or manipulative.
It's Aikido masters.
Once they have the skill set developed, they can be deployed into the intelligence apparatus, converting people into informants, becoming spies within organizations, hypnotizing people without their awareness, tricking them into revealing information. Chase Hughes spent 20 years in the US military, applying hypnosis and NLP principles, teaching intelligence operators how to do exactly these things. But here's where Andrew Tate may have innovated.
I'll say it right here, out here in the open. I have female spies who work for me to this day. He doesn't fuck a bitch because he wants to fuck a bitch. He fucks a bitch to get information.
But not just him, the entire network. They use persuasion engineering to turn women into informants or even agents.
So in certain scenarios we need absolute loyalty, we need to use a female. They're down. They're like, okay, let's hide it.
But I have to make sure you understand something. These people have essentially developed a shotgun gun. This is a real world skill set, and an intelligence network is perfectly in line with Tate's ambitions. Is there even an end to Tate's ambition?
I can already read girls' minds. I can look at women and instantly read her mind. Women's minds are very readable.
The masters of this craft like Darren Brown, Chase Hughes, or Milton Erickson, they can look at somebody and determine if they're interested in what they're saying based on their blink rate. They can see what their pulse is by looking at their ankle. They can know if you have a bad knee based on the wear pattern on your shoe. Like, these guys are insane. And a hypnotist would use this information to read your mind, to direct where they want you to go next, whether that's to help you or exploit you.
And it couples with the real world. So we teach you how to make money inside the real world, and we teach you how to be a man of influence inside the war room. And
now, surely, with something as sensitive as an intelligence organization, they didn't incriminate themselves, right? Right?
I'll say it right here, out here in the open.
6 months ago, a Twitter user by the name of Sartorial Cyber received a 20 gigabyte chat log leak. And like Crabman, he only posted what he deemed to be relevant. And while making a joke, actually posted the smoking gun. The last picture contains this message from Sartorial Shooter referencing the operator courses. 8 modules covering espionage, intelligence, and surveillance. Iggy follows up to explain where this operator course lands on the white path. Redacted provides an insane amount of value with an incredible 8-week course that digs deep into the craft. Ooh, the craft. Further connecting NLP and hypnosis to espionage. But here it is in black and white. We are building a global squadron of intelligence operators with 300 plus graduates so far. Graduates with a capital G. Tate himself is briefed on real-world challenge reports.
Self-report. Every time. But still the question remains, what are these real-world challenge reports? What are the eagles? What is this symbol? We still don't know. But what we do know is that Iggy spent decades in Japan, and the whole Wudon theme is heavily Eastern inspired. How much of the war room is Iggy? How much is Tate? Are the goals of Iggy and Andrew aligned? The conspiracy theorists are going to have a field day. I mean, speculative thinkers are going to have a field day with this one. Turn around, twist it, neuro-linguistic to reframe. I mean, think about it. A sovereign citizen built an intelligence network. That's fucking crazy, dude. There's agents of the Tatrix.
And there are DNGs right now planning DNG attacks, which will end up benefiting me massively.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your service.
To the Tate media machine.
Thank you very much for increasing the power of the Tates.
All these journalists missed it. How? Why? I'm over here scraping up breadcrumbs and I'm still producing novelties. You guys have all 20 gigabytes. You're fucking amateurs, dude. I do this on the fucking side.
Because I've spoken to 3 women now who say that it is.
Just give me the file. Obviously, you guys are missing everything. The world needs to know. What else is out there? What else did you guys miss?